This is an extract from a short story I wrote that demanded to be made into a novel, so that's something I'm working on at the moment. This extract occurs just after the character Michael has told his boyfriend Sasha who he is and what he does. The cigarette stub floated in coffee. I watched it spin around the cup. I considered a reply. So, you're like an assassin? No. More like the guy with the black cloak and the scythe. I looked at the damp stub again and considered drinking around it. That's not something you hear every day. Michael stretched his long legs out under the table and sniffed. I'm not asking you to believe me. Most people don't. Really? You can just walk away. Yeah, I might just, I said, looking into his dark eyes. This was bullshit. You could just break up with me like a normal person. I don't want to leave you. I pushed the cup away and folded my arms. This was typical. I attracted crazies like flies around shit. And now this. 2 decent dates and the guy decides to tell me... I shook my head. Are you crazy? No, he said. I'm honest. I understand it's difficult to cope with, but trust me, it's harder for me. Sure. I rolled my eyes. I'll see you later. I stood out of the booth, hulking my jeans up as I stood. Well, you're certain to see me one day, he chuckled. It was raining. I gave it a day before I texted Michael. I asked him if he wanted to come over. I was just putting my phone down when the door knocked. I just text you, I said when I saw who it was. I know, he smiled. This is me replying. You were on your way over anyway? No, I got your message and came to you. I stepped back to let him into the flat. You're just trying to freak me out. Is it working? Yeah, a little bit. Michael took out a small tobacco tin. Do you mind? Not like it's going to kill you, is it? I watched him laugh before lighting the thin fag with a match. No, it's not. He blew smoke. You've accepted it then? Not really. I brought 2 coffees over and stuck them on the table before sitting. So you're, what, an angel? There's no such thing. At least, I've never met one. Who do you work for then? No one. Sure. It's just something I do. You eat, you breathe. I help people to die. Help? Okay, I make them. You can't just go, you know. No, I didn't know. No, you will one day. When you kill me. I don't kill you. Life takes care of that. All those viruses and car accidents and the like. I just move you on. I picked up my cup. So when will I die? Michael shrugged. I don't know. You could get cancer in 30 years. You could stab yourself in the next hour. You could choke on a boiled sweet. I'm not in charge of that side of things. But I will die. Yeah, you all do. If you really do that, then why are you here? I asked. People just not dying today. Michael rolled his eyes and stubbed the cigarette out from the sole of his shoe. I'm in a few places at once. Think of me as a sort of force, rather than just one guy. But I figure you'd rather talk to me as someone you fancy. I put my drink down again. Michael watched me with a smile on his face. Do you do this a lot? I asked. He shook his head and the smile vanished. I don't like getting attached. Now and then I can't help it, but it's not a habit of mine. Who was your last? He glanced at the floor. It was a long time ago, in your years. More than a century. She was a whore. I helped her leave that life and start a sewing business. She had syphilis, and she didn't tell me until I realised it was her time. What was that like? Michael's eyes snapped onto mine. What do you think it was like? Like having no choice but to take the life of someone you love. That's what. I'm sorry. I felt like a twat. The she thing had thrown me, that was all. Michael stood and stretched. Let's do something. Like what? Live today like it's your last? And is it? I told you I don't know. I'm not in charge of when you go, just helping you along the way. It got easier. Michael would stay at the flat and act like a normal person. If someone asked what he did, he'd say he worked in human resources. I was on edge. Anyone interesting today? I once asked, trying to sound casual. He didn't even look up from his Sudoku. Everyone is interesting. I didn't ask again. One day, I came home from work and found him slumped against the bed. I remembered hearing on the radio the news about an earthquake with thousands of casualties. I put my arms around him. Another time there was a terrible accident at a baby milk factory. There were mass poisonings, and Michael barely spoke for a week after that. I wish I could help you, I said. You're lucky, he said. You get to escape this world. I have to be a part of war, sickness, genocide, suicide. And it's been going on forever. It's not lucky, I shook my head. I'll have to leave you. You will. That's inevitable. But I get to mourn you for the rest of eternity.